But let me ask you a question, because a lot of people are saying, speculating online, they go, it's like, oh, dude, they're trying to send us like mixed signals to Bisping's camp. Bisping's not dumb. He's not going to fall for that.
Yeah. I read that and I decided to take a week off. I was like, yeah, get me I want a beer and a cheeseburger, because Christophe Madou says, his eyes do not tell me what I want to know. I gotta stop talking French like that. No, listen, I'm expecting the best GSP ever. I really am. You know, that's what you got to prepare for.
You're preparing for the best GSP? Are you really though? Because I'm not. As a fan, I'm not expecting the best GSP ever.
Really? Because I keep seeing that.
Nope.
See, this is why I think you're crazy, and that's why Christophe Madou, maybe he saw him at the start of camp or something like that, and he wasn't happy. But George is one of those guys. George is a consummate professional. He's a hard worker. He has a very cerebral approach to everything he does. So he's been away for 4 years. Don't tell me that asshole hasn't been with sports psychologists. He hasn't been, he's done his diet, his nutrition, he's built his body mass so he's stronger, he's suited to the weight class. He's studied me like a bloody, he studied me very, very closely. So he's done everything he can, and he's not going to come back and make an asshole of himself. Well, I'm going to make sure that he does, but he's going to make sure that he doesn't, So
whose side are you on?
No, I know. I don't even know what I'm saying right now.
You're talking him up a little bit too much.
No, but he's that type of guy, though. He is the consummate professional, and he does what needs to be done. So I'm expecting a big, strong, fast, explosive George St. Pierre. Now, that said, in the promo things, I've got to say, he does look very cumbersome and doesn't seem... when he's hitting the bags in that white room on that promo, he looks kind of fucking... He looks terrible. He looks awful, and he looks a little fat and a little impregnated by aliens. But
you don't have a Hall of Fame career that he's had, and now he's defended the belt, and he'll defend it again on November 4th without taking people seriously, no matter who it is. So you prepare at your level. When you're a tenured fighter at the level he's been at, you have to prepare at the level you prepare at, no matter who you're facing.
Yeah. The reason I say that I don't. There's some you've talked about this in the past, and we've talked to other fighters about this. I think there's a difference between, training and learning and growing, and then there's a difference between competing at the highest level of fighting, where the stakes are so fucking high. You know what I'm saying? So George being off for 4 years, I'm sure that he went out there and he's learned a lot, and I'm sure that he's been continuing to grow as a martial artist. But there's just something about the sport evolving and the guys that have been competing at the highest level, especially on a championship level, where I think that is. There's just something about that I think really means something. And George looked like he was fading in his last few fights. It wasn't the same dominant George St. Pierre that we had seen. A lot of people thought that he lost the Johnny Hendricks fight. The Nick Diaz fight was way closer than it should have been. George used to completely dominate dudes, and he started getting beat up by guys who...
Yeah, but, it's easy to say that, but he was, and this is part of the reason he stepped away. And again, I'm not defending him. You just got to see, you got to see both sides.
You know the sport.
He was fighting at the highest level. He's fighting championship fight after championship fight, and the pressure. And so you're fighting the best guy out there, and you're fighting guys that's their title shot. That's what they want. They've worked their entire life to get that. So you're fighting guys at the peak of their career each and every time. So he wanted, I'll do another Harrington, please, as well, if you don't mind. So you mentioned something which a lot of people have mentioned about the sport moving on, but I don't see that. Ultimately, a lot of things are still the same, He's been training with John Danaher, but Danaher was in his corner the last few fights. Brady Fink tells me, my jiu-jitsu coach over there, he says that he's been in the corner the last few times. So I don't think we're going to see anything particularly new. I think we're going to see the same old George St. Pierre. I just think he's going to be a bit bigger and a bit stronger, but who knows? As Jason was saying, that might slow him down a little bit.
Yeah. I think that there's something about. Sorry, Michael Bisping's opening his bags of potato chips and nuts.
That's what I
do. Look, here's the thing, man. I think there's when I say the sports evolve, I wish when Mike comes back, what I want him to do is I want him to look at 4 years ago. George. Where we were. And not just George. I'm talking about the sport in general. Like, who was the champions?
Well, I'll tell you right now. 2013, I fought Vitor Belfort, and then I fought Alan Belcher. And then that was when I detached my retina. And then, 2013, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, anyway. So,
I think that, but I do think that in the past,
not a lot's changed. What's changed? People keep saying that. How can the sport have changed? Listen, it's changed in terms of public perception. It's changed in terms of money. It's changed in terms of Reebok deals and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the flip side, they think it's because
the same nuts and bolts of fighting.
What about like
it's still the same?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. There might be a few extra little newfangled techniques or whatever, or people might train a little different, or maybe people saying let's not spar as much.
Even like you, Michael Bisping today, could you beat up Michael Bisping 2013, or would it be a close fight?
I'd say so. I mean, I've definitely developed and got better. Yeah, wouldn't be a walk in the park, but I'd say so for sure. That's why I'm the champion now. But
that's what the critics are saying, is because he's been out for so long, and you continuously not only train but have taken fights. You're constantly evolving as an athlete, as a fighter. Whereas, call it ring rust, call it what you want. That's what the critics are saying, is because he's been out for so long. Coming up a weight class against
I hope so.
Tenured fighter like yourself.
I hope
that's
so.
The risk.
I hope so. But
is that what you're saying?
Right. As a fighter, you can't think like that. You can't. You can't think. Oh yeah, he's had 4 years away. I'm thinking the opposite. I'm thinking he's extra motivated and then gone to extra lengths because of that. And George is that type of person. And believe it, he's very, very confident. You know, when we've sat in those press conferences, press conferences, I can see a confident man. For sure, and he does. He believes it. We wrestled a long time ago. Spoke about this, and he dominated me there. So he thinks he's still going to do the same.
Yeah.
But people are sick of us talking about GSP every week. It is the big fight. I'm 200 pounds right now. I've got 15 pounds to lose. That's going to be a pain in the ass.